Welcome to In-Depth Outdoors, bringing you fishing's hottest bites with James Holt and the IDO fishing team.
All right. Oh, yeah, big fish. Yeah!
That is a trophy right there.
Oh, yeah! Check it out. That's a heavy fish.
In-Depth Outdoors, brought to you by Lake Master, leading in accuracy, following with success. Duckman Nets, the net of a lifetime. B-Fish and Tackle, jigs and soft plastics for the serious walleye angler. And Drift Control, the pro angler's choice.
On today's episode of In-Depth Outdoors, I'm here with Bob Bowman, muskie fisherman extraordinaire, and we're going to discuss how plastics have really revolutionized the muskie industry over the last decade. Muskie Innovations came out with some incredible initial designs with their Bulldog series, and companies like Dunright with their Lifelike series of plastics have really elevated those products. What we have here, this is a Dunright Lifelike Squirrely Tail. And as you can see, this is a big bait that does a great job of imitating a large forage. How long have you been fishing these big baits as a staple for the entire duration of the muskie season?
I'd say 2 full years. The last couple of years we started running these baits, bigger baits, and we had success right from the beginning of the season. Open season, we started running them and we had fish coming, fish following, fish eating.
It seems like you were on fish right away in June on metro lakes here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, fishing, well, this is a Cisco pattern. You were fishing
A walleye.
a walleye pattern. And I remember talking to you at that time. You were catching some incredible fish on metro lakes where they regularly stock walleyes. And that's the walleye pattern there. And of course, you can definitely see the resemblance.
That was a great bait for us, and not any different from any other fisherman. We were matching the hatch. We got a lake that was just loaded full of walleyes. What are we going to mirror? We're matching what they're normally eating. This bait, I found success on working just a pull pause where you reel down on it a couple times, pull back, reel down, pull back. It's just a slow pull pause approach. And with these baits, when they pause, they're kind of turning sideways a little bit in the water column. And I think usually on that pause is when we were generating most of our strikes. You'd get a few when you'd pull it that would just freight train it, but for the most part, they were on that pause. They were rather subtle. It was more of a walleye or a bass bite where it was just the slight tick and then you'd lean into them and there the fish was.
This shows for anybody that's ever contemplated getting into muskie fishing, but's never really taken the time to get acquainted with what it's really all about. Stick around, you're gonna love this show.
I'm Bob Bowman. I'm out here fishing today with Dan Vogel, the owner of Dunright Tackle. We're chasing metro muskies in Minnesota. We're out here filming today with In-Depth Outdoors.
Hey, we're out here fishing some of the new Dunright Lifelike baits today. New series for us out this year. We've got a paddle tail and a curly tail version in 3 different sizes. This is our 10-inch perch. This came out late last year for us and did very well on the lax. And also a variety of different colors. The 8-inch pike, a fantastic early season bait, totally suspending. The twitch bait, pull pause bait. They're all still made out of the Formula X plastic, which is extremely durable. Stretches to many times its length so that when it gets hit, it doesn't just tear apart.
It's a ski, baby. That net, Dan. Oh yeah, it's a good fish. I'm gonna bring her up if you can get her. Oh, hold up, hold up, hold up. I'll I'll bring her back around. Here she comes.
Nope. Didn't want to come up.
All right, let's try this. Get in the goddamn net.
Net's wrapped up on top. Get in there,
All
girl.
right, she's in.
Whoa!
That was a fish that shouldn't have made it.
Oh, she did not want to come, did she?
I'd like to get her on the other side of the boat.
Yep. Hang on.
Away from this trolling motor.
Boy, she had some fight in her, huh?
Yeah, she does.
All right.
Give me. Whew, I got the shaky leg.
I know, there's not much.
Got the adrenaline rush going.
Adrenaline rush anymore.
If that didn't happen, I'd be done. All right.
Oh, I know, it's just amazing.
Come here, baby. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
48.
I would like you back here for some help with this. It's a nice metro ski.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Will you come back and just grab the tail on this? Yeah. Just when I flip her over. I just don't want her to go nuts. Oh, 49.
49 and a half.
49 and a half.
Bobby, look at that. Right on the nose.
All right, I'm gonna get her back.
All right.
Log on to idofishing.com. That's idofishing.com, and you'll be on your way to catching more and bigger fish. And you'll find fishing reports from all your favorite bodies of water, with monster fish photos, a friendly, helpful forum, and streaming video of every In-Depth Outdoors episode available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We're out here today. We just released a 49.5-inch Metro Muskie. We're throwing Done Right Lifelike series. This is the walleye variety with the squirrely tail on it. We got an 11-ounce bait. We've been out here working these along the deep weed edges. And this is the bait I just caught the 49.5 on. We had to cut the hooks out of her. Bait's in great shape, tail's stretchy, and they catch muskies.
Hello, I'm Dave Marquardt, and I'd like to introduce you to the Skeeter Boat Center in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. At Skeeter Boat Center, we have one of the largest selections of Skeeter fishing boats in the upper Midwest, and you can take a test drive in almost any Skeeter model we have. Plus, we have Yamaha 5-star service. Our staff offers the personalized service you deserve. Check us out online at skeeterboatcenter.com, where our goal is to help you have fun fishing.
It's the quality of the gear that has changed so much for the muskie angler that's made it so much more enjoyable. And 15 years ago, it was a 6-foot rod that had absolutely no bend to it, often referred to as a hood prop. And things have come a long way. The rods you're using now, Bob, tell us how they've changed.
710 is what I've been using. It's an extra heavy rod. It's got a relatively soft tip, and with big plastics, that's what I'm looking for in a stick. I'm looking for a lot of backbone, but sensitivity in the tip. Just like a bass guy or a walleye guy, you want to be able to feel those strikes or those hits. As subtle as they may be, you want enough backbone to drive those hooks home.
Give us a little rundown on what you're using for line, reels, even talk about the leaders too, because if there's any place where things have really changed, it looks like a simple small change, but the switch in leaders has made a huge difference. So tell us about it.
80-pound Power Pro is what I'm running on almost all of my rods. It doesn't seem to absorb any of the water, kind of the waxy texture to it. Later in the fall, it's a big hand saver when you're not holding the whole mitt full of water and ice. Basically with the leaders, what I've been running is a fluorocarbon. Running 180-pound fluorocarbon. And the fluorocarbon leaders, to me, it just gives these big plastics so much more motion than what they get with the titanium. Titanium's great on a jerkbait, but when you're fishing big plastics, these are the key.
I'm sure people are going to think with an 80-pound main line, what do you need a leader for? But I can tell you, firsthand experience, a big muskie will part that 80-pound line like sewing thread. If a tooth gets around that line, it's gone.
Unsnagger. Oh, hold up. I'll bring her back. Come on back, baby. Ready?
Yep.
There we go.
Nice fish. 42, I would guess. What'd I say? Oh, I'd call that 43.
3.
Absolutely. That's a nice fish.
We'll kick her out this way. Sayonara, sweetheart. And off she goes. We got down here to the tip of this, right on the edge where the cabbage runs from about 14 feet of water and then just drops into 30. Just throwing the big walleye squirrely tail again. She almost ripped the rod out of my hand this time. She pulled pretty good, put up a good fight. Off she went, 43. We're gonna go get another.
Whew. Beautiful. You're so low key about the hook set. Oh, there's a fish. This is another muskie. Well, I think, it's like Bob was saying, in clear water, for me, I always have huge confidence in natural colored baits that look like a perch or a walleye or a sucker. I think the idea in clear water is to make your bait look wounded or vulnerable. And that's why we do a lot of pull pauses with this stuff. That to me is the perfect combination in clear water, is a natural looking bait that looks vulnerable. That's the one that's going to get eaten.
It's an easy meal. If something goes by, looks like it's struggling or wounded, they're gonna take a stab at it. I think one of the other things too in fishing the clear water is where you place the boat. Boat placement is huge. If you're gonna park on the weed edge, basically you're sitting right on top of those fish. 90% of the time, those fish are gonna vacate the weed edge. They're probably gonna stay in about the same depth, but they're gonna push out to deeper water off the structure. Now, if you can keep the boat out, and it seems weird to do this, but keep the boat out in 25, 30 feet of water, being able to cast to the weed edge or maybe just into it.
Bob is absolutely right, and he taught me that a long time ago, that you've got to be, there's a lot of weeds that continue on below down into the 17 to 20 foot mark that you'll never see, but that edge and that transition between the weed types and the heights of the weeds is quite often where the fish are at. So for me, like I say, just getting off of what I could see, the structure that I had to be able to see, that's where the fish were. I had to get rid of that mentality.
There's a lot to be said for, you see weeds down there, back off a little bit, put the boat out in deep water. I think it'll put more fish in the boat for you.
One of the things we want to accomplish today with today's show is to give people an idea of where to look for midsummer muskies.
First thing I look for midsummer is weeds, and next to those weeds has got to be deep water. This is a spot that I will fish all year round. Early in the season, as soon as the established weed growth starts, we've got a real shallow flat over on the right side of the screen here. Comes up to 4 feet of water. We've got cabbage, we got coontail, we got a good mix of weeds in there. There's a few stones up on top, but not a lot. And then if you notice here, we got 34, 40 feet of water. We got deep water adjacent to a real shallow weed flat. A lot of guys get up really close on the weeds, and if you can't see the weeds, you're out too far. And the guys with that mentality are seeing a lot of fish follow, but they're not getting the strikes. Really what's happening is you're getting on top of that fish, and if you haven't spooked it with the boat, by the time the fish gets out to you and following the bait, you've already run out of real estate.
So instead of getting your boat just outside the weeds and making the majority of your cast up over the top of the weed bed, you're holding back. So your cast might start just inside the edge, and the majority of your cast is covering open water. You've caught the attention of the muskie, and you're pulling them out towards the boat.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm doing. today we've been throwing some bigger baits, upwards towards a pound, and when we're throwing those heavier baits, we have a little bit of a preference to use a little bit heavier rod. We've been throwing 8-foot rods, capable of throwing 48 ounce, up to 48 ounce baits. Takes a lot of the work out of hooking those big baits all day, saves on the arms and a little less fatigue. The smaller plastics, like what I'm throwing right now, a little bit shorter rod, a little bit better sensitivity. 7.6 down to about 7 feet seems to be a pretty good fit for these lures we're throwing right now. Hey Pat, let me call you back.
Hang on.
I don't know what I'm dealing with here. If it's a pike, it feels pretty good. Oh, yeah, it's a little ski. Who makes this, Dan?
Which side do you want, Bob?
I'll bring them back around
Over
here.
here? All right. Yeah, a guy who can set the hook while talking on the phone and doesn't even drop the phone. Oh man.
Off she goes.
That's classic. Oh, let me call you back.
On the telephone, talking to my father-in-law, and up comes a 37 3/4 and eats a top dancer. All right, we switched gears here. This is a top dancer. We're fishing the calm side of the lake now, and top dancer moves really slow in the water. Just kind of a side-to-side action, walk the dog, and we're working along these pencil reeds here. Just outside the pencil reeds, there's some really nice cabbage, and then it kind of tapers off out into deep water. It's more of a big feeding shelf in here as opposed to a specific spot on the spot where we're working a weed edge and it's dropping off into deep water. This is just kind of a big shelf that runs all the way along this shoreline. Had that 37 3/4 come up and eat, and we're gonna go get another one.
Log on to idofishing.com. That's idofishing.com, and you'll be on your way to catching more and bigger fish. And you'll find fishing reports from all your favorite bodies of water, with monster fish photos, a friendly, helpful forum, and streaming video of every In-Depth Outdoors episode available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Hello, I'm Dave Marquardt, and I'd like to introduce you to the Skeeter Boat Center in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. At Skeeter Boat Center, we have one of the largest selections of Skeeter fishing boats in the upper Midwest. And you can take a test drive in almost any Skeeter model we have. Plus, we have Yamaha 5-star service. Our staff offers the personalized service you deserve. Check us out online at skeeterboatcenter.com, where our goal is to help you have fun fishing.
Fall is that time of year when all muskie fishermen will spend extra time in the boat, and of course that's probably the best time of the year to stick a true trophy when it comes to muskie fishing. And I know you're targeting these spawning ciscos, these spawning tullibees. What are you looking for when you pull up on a rock reef or a shoreline where you know you've got ciscos or tullies spawning? What catches your eye? Where do you focus your attentions?
In the fall, when you got rocks and tullies, it's all about the stones. And looking at this, what we've got here is just a classic piece of structure. We've got a huge rock complex. We got deep water all the way around it, 29, 30 feet of water. And the bulk of the pressure is going to be on this 6 to 9 foot edge, maybe 12 foot. This is where all the guys are going to beat up. And I'll fish this. I'll usually pick that as my first spot to run through. But as I'm looking at the Lowrance, the second thing I'm looking for is a secondary rock hump, a big pile out somewhere off of this that nobody's going to hit.
It's a common theme from earlier in the year when you were talking about guys really focused on the visual weeds. They do pretty much the same thing in the fall with the shallow stones. It's hard for most anglers to pull back and get that boat in deeper water and fish the entire complex. And when you've got a map like this that shows all these little secondary spots, if this is getting 99% of your traffic, all these other secondary spots are split in that last 1%. Yep. And that tips the odds in a muskie angler's favor.
Figure eight, gotta do the figure eight.
Oh, you said, there it is. Figure eight. Oh no. You said 2 fish come up to the boat real quick. I just lost one. I hit it on the figure eight. She came up, just drilled it about the 3rd or 4th time around. Mike had her up just a minute ago. And so away she goes, off she came.
What side do you want me?
You can get them from right there.
There? Big pike. Nice pike.
Alright, I'm gonna get back, guys.
Bloody knuckles and everything.
Go get some more. I had that pike come in at both sides and just crush the swirly Cisco. I got to watch the whole thing unravel right in front of me. Fish came in, mouth just wide open, bait disappeared for a split second, and pow, she's on.
Where do you want me?
Right here.
Let me know.
Get her. All right. Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah! Check it out! That's a heavy fish.
51. Yep. Get it back.
Well, these photos on the wall definitely give the viewers an idea of what the goal is. Muskies are the largest predator fish that swims in fresh water. Bob's given us an idea of how to approach this incredible species. Don't be intimidated by muskie fishing. It's a lot easier than you think, and the rewards, I'm telling you, just look at the photos. Just one fish like that in your lifetime is going to be worth the effort. Well, from all of us here at In Depth Outdoors, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.